Now I would like to hand it over to the next speaker, Alexander Khanin, company MTS AI, and the name of the presentation is The Power of AI for Social Good. Alexander, over to you. Hello, I'm Alexander Khanin, and I would like to talk not just about practical cases and details, but about visionary approach on what we call AI, artificial intelligence, and how it will go together with the modern society, and what transformations will we see if this technology is applied. Actually, many prominent people today and before the artificial intelligence and before they were called linear algebra or used other terms, but the principle was the same. And today, artificial intelligence is much more dangerous than nuclear weapons, and the technology gives room to a number of questions on how to regulate it, on how it will coexist with humans, and there is an understanding that introduction of document like AI ethics code, we have for now we have more questions than answers, but we believe the technology would be more helpful. If we would look at innovation cycle in the life of the humanity, innovation cycle, innovation goes on in cycles, and they are getting shorter and shorter. At the age of steam power, it took like 50 years, but now, against the background of things like AI, Internet of Things, robots and drones, this period is becoming shorter. We think that it will take 25 years. If we analyze on what is the main product consumed by the humanity today, no doubt it's content, information. So let's have a look at this report. Actually, by 2025, the amount of information accumulated would be of 175 zettabytes, a huge number with huge number of zeros, and we have the opinion that the volume and dynamics of data produced by machines, devices, is much more than a human being can consume in its raw form. Information is unstructured in many ways, and it's a big challenge to us on how can we process that information and get the necessary percentage of information to be absorbed by a human being. So let's see how our predecessors, how many time it took them to process information. All discussions apart, just 200 years ago, 200,000 years ago, a human being was learning how to set things on fire. Now, today, the volume of information is huge. AI is not a magic bullet, but we have areas where it's compared to humans' intelligence, like with face recognition. So at face recognition, AI is much more efficient, well, in a million times more efficient than human. In also recognition of animals, voice recognitions, If we talk about the possibility of use it in linguistics, machine is superb to a human, but also there are areas where it's not possible for AI to compete with humans. There are some areas and disciplines in medicine where it's used for image processing, for analytics, but some operations are not possible without equipment. Like for pharmaceuticals research, identifying viruses, this is where only machine can do it. The human being is not possible. For face recognition, machine is 99% efficient and human 97%. But here the level of difference is much higher. So according to Kant, natural intelligence includes observation, mind, and reasoning. Observation and analysis are also available also in the terrain of artificial intelligence, but reasoning, abstract thinking is at the moment available for a human only. And I don't think there is a big risk on the side of natural intelligence. We cannot imagine that in the nearest 3 to 10 years, the machines will master all the three components.
But at the same time, the hype around the technologies is really unthinkable. And there is explanation to that. There are certain industries and economies that are measured by double-digit growth rates from year to year, and in absolute figures, that is impressive. For example, if we talk about healthcare industry, medicine, robotics is minimum 13 billion US dollars. Algorithms in the pharmaceuticals account for around 14 billion US dollars. If we talk about drones and autonomous vehicles, that is around 200 billion US dollars together. And if we talk about data and cybersecurity, that is almost 280 billion US dollars. So the industries are huge. And the share of AI here, that is, first of all, an interface between the humans with their current capabilities and current reality. But at the same time, if you remember an action or an even horror film, Venom, when an unknown alien or unknown aliens could unite with humans to form symbiosis, that is a union of bodies that makes each of them stronger. That is a true comparison, because AI does not replace a human. It gives them superpower. So humans receive superpowers, enhancing the capabilities of their senses, of information processing, and that is the dramatics of it. Why we do that? We believe that AI can bridge the gaps that we face in humankind. It can cope with certain issues and problems, helping us in narrow fields so far, but further on in wider and wider fields. So there are certain clear benefits for humans. And we expect a pretty high breakthrough in life quality thanks to AI products. We also expect a new circle of industrial revolutions, and this cycle will be faster and faster. So the periods will interchange faster and faster. And we can see that the barrier between offline and online worlds is now going down. So very often and very soon it will be hard to tell online from offline. At the same time, there are some unpredictable factors and risks that should not stop the development of technology, but we need to work on them and mitigate them on time. If we are more and more dependent on IT and our smart assistants, vulnerability of these assistants becomes critical. And it is important for AI products and artificial intelligence processing has to be secured. That is a must-have, and none of the systems of the future will be developed without that. And the second aspect is that of ethics. Despite signing the code of ethics and elaborating certain regulatory matters, still a lot of them stay unanswered. I believe you all know the trolley dilemma. Still, there are no 100% true answers. And we are theorizing now a lot, but while the AI diffusion increases into our life, there will be more and more clarity. Just society, business, and the state have to be engaged into a dialogue, and this dialogue should be open, and the speed of changes and lawmaking should keep up with the speed of technologies, because we have annual change of technologies. And why a lot of foundations and investments are now looking at AI market, because that is one of the growth points at the level of 56% annually. That is an annual growth YOY. And in absolute figures, by 2025, the market will account for almost $170 billion US. So that is a huge value, huge economy. Therefore, the investment attractiveness of this sphere is as it is. And I would like to share my thoughts and how we structure the approach to AI. We have a hybrid approach, and we believe that we need to create all the conditions and toolkits for us to have our own developments and also act as a center of attraction and magnet for the best startups, because the main breakthroughs will take place not in separate technologies, but in their applications and combinations. That is why we are now in an active investment stage of creating a platform for incubations, monetizations, and growing products with AI. And there are certain factors of success here. One of them is access to international expertise. AI has no borders or nationalities. That is the beauty of it, but at the same time, the complexity of it. To be able to compete in the Russian Federation, we need to be able to give the world-class products. So even to work well in Russia, we need to be international. We need to have certain test beds and platforms to try and test it all, because it is an endless process. It is a life organism. You need to grow it, to test it, to purify it. And we also need to combine not only academic and applied scientists, but we also have to have experts from sectoral industries. For example, if we go into medicine and healthcare, being developers, we can come up with some approaches of genius that would seem to us that. But without the people in the field that know all the details of this industry, it will not work. That is why there has to be symbiosis of science, business, and profile experts. That is why we are structuring our company as a market leader and product vendors and expertise vendor. And to our shareholders and our group of companies, we are the main driver and enabler of business transformation. And for startups and teams, we are a reliable partner that can make even the boldest dreams come true. We are elaborating a strategy that is, if you want to be a long-term leaders in AI, you need to act in several areas simultaneously. You need to think about fast wins like RPA, recommendation system, computer vision, logistics management. These are the things where market already exists and technologies are in place. We also have to think about the mid-wave, that is up to 5-year horizon, that is trends, where the technologies are clear, but the market is being shaped only. That is visual odometry and navigation, that is AI in medicine and synthesis of content. AI in medicine, no matter what diagnosis AI will give you, the insurance company will not accept it. So the technology is ready, but the market is not yet. That is an excellent example of the trend that soon will turn into new economy. And the largest wave platform, that is the sphere where there is no market and no technologies. And here we talk about neurochips, for example, and that is data inference framework and smart devices management system. And if we do not work on that now, understanding that the investment horizon is 10 years, we will not stay a long-term leader. That is why we need to combine all these 3 layers. Talking about the applied things and the industries that we are tapping, there will be several spheres. First is smart environment, second is digital security, and third is metaverse. What is a digital environment? What is a smart environment? I believe we all know smart home, smart city. We have heard these words many times. But now, to really go ahead, you need to come up with not a trivial combination of this, but you need to think through all the customer cycle, all the user journey, starting with the point when you leave your place and take your car and go to public spaces, go to your work. It should be like your Aura, your virtual assistant and services. And all your wearable devices have to go with you, as well as the environment. It is possible. It is a huge industry, and that will definitely change the quality, safety, and security of life, people's life. Talking about cybersecurity of new generation, or cybersecurity 2.0, now, instead of being a passive system, we see that there is huge demand on active systems that can forecast event development, and without AI models, you will not be able to do it at all. A simple example comes from insurance. What is called cybersecurity insurance. Not many deal with insuring companies from cyber attacks. They all just give a tool that protects you at the moment of time without the forecast or assessment of risks. But the demand for these technologies is huge, and there are unicorns turning up in this sphere. So we have made a decision to tap this sphere for sure. And that is a good example of not a separate cybersecurity, but a combination of cybersecurity and insurance. And the last one, metaverse, that is a very familiar word now, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg. And here there is a set of technologies, that is digital twins and internet of the new generation, and huge and deep diffusion of online and offline world. The most difficult thing, I believe, that we need to pay attention to in this sphere is the reality that demands to change our world online. We have gathered international expertise to implement our strategies, and we work as one team. We have advisors that are leaders in the industry already, and we hope to become the best together. And as I have said, there are no borders, no nationalities. That is a global technology and global company. And I'm sure that in 10 years, every second of us will have an AI living in us. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Alexander, for your speech. You have touched upon really very serious matters of interaction of an AI with a human being, with the state, with the society, and you have even given us an outlook into the future. Thank you very much.